Before we start this video, don't forget the kickoff is live this Sunday for Liverpool versus Manchester United, 4 o'clock on the kickoff. I'll see you then. This is a relationship of inconvenience. The council hasn't worked. The divorce papers have been served. And I am actually done with this team. I'm almost at the end. And I am done with this manager. And this will go viral, but I won't give any swear words in it. This is it. This team has to be dismantled, and only a few will survive. Bruno, you clocked me in the Gallagher end. I was wearing a blue jacket. You see my hand signals. You and Isak. I meant every word of it. Every last word. It is my birthday week next week. Family means everything. This team's all I've got, but they don't feel like family anymore. No. Not my family. Not on my watch. Welcome back to the kickoff. That was just a little bit of performance art I wanted to do for you lot, just to really sum up how football fans feel sometimes, inspired by Andy Tate.
A monkey in a suit could do a better job.
What a video that was, by the way. I'm having a bit of a laugh, but that is exactly how I was feeling. Aside from the hand signals to Bruno, I still love you, Bruno. I felt shit after we got knocked out of the Champions League. I didn't even want to fucking do a video. It's taken us like 48 hours just to get my head right. When I compare myself to Andy Tate and say how he's feeling, like his club's doing nothing anytime soon. They're going round in circles. And in context, a year and a half or 2 years ago, Newcastle were battling relegation with half of this side. It's still fucking progress, isn't it? You know, we were in the group of death. We had a moment where we really felt like it was all going to happen after we won our first game against PSG at home. We got a solid draw away against Milan. Should we have qualified after that? You'd have thought so, but ultimately, like, we found our level. And this is probably, especially for me, because you know I get carried away, I'm excited. It's a healthy reality check of, we're a good fucking team, but compared to some of the biggest sides in European football history, which is what we got, you know, in that group of death with, we're not ready yet. We're just still a thin squad, a lot of players still playing in that first team who have played championship football. Was it a failure? Yeah, we failed to get through the group. We should be playing knockout football, given the quality that we showed in some of those games. I think we could have qualified, but it's very hard to be angry at this lot when that injury crisis was so brutal and the competition was good. Dortmund were fucking good. Milan were fucking good. PSG were all right. PSG were the ones we were scared of. We took 4 points from them. And it should have been 6 if it wasn't for that bullshit penalty that we were scammed from. Then if we just managed to nick a draw in one of those Dortmund games, that's it. We're through practically. I've seen Newcastle blow multiple cup finals, a 12-point lead in the league, and get relegated multiple times. Yeah, this feels shit because the hope was so there to qualify and all of that. But in context, still shit, but not as shit. Because the lads gave us a great memory in that. Like that 4-1 against PSG. And I know this is small club mentality, but ultimately we're not there yet. We haven't won anything, as people keep like reminding me on fucking social media. So I've got to take what I can and go, that night was a historic night, and one that showed on our night we can beat some of the best teams in world football, but we're not there consistently. The reason for that is the players that we have playing for this team, half of them played for fucking Steve Bruce battling relegation. That's why we can't be held to the standard of some of these other teams in Europe, like Arsenal right now. And look, at least we didn't go out like a wet fart like Man United. I mean, they got the easiest fucking group possible and still fucked it. I think they conceded double the amount of goals we conceded. Against Bayern Munich, they had one shot on target. You know, you're supposed to be going for it in the last game. At least we went for it. It's one thing to lose, but at least we went down swinging. We had 17 shots in that game, 8 shots on target, 58% possession. What am I supposed to do? Slag the lads off when we're fucking playing the same 11 for like God knows how many weeks in a row? Burned out. They gave it everything they could, and it wasn't good enough. And this is another sign to the board of like, now we know exactly where we are. We are overperforming even still. Like Eddie Howe is still overperforming with this lot. I never dreamt I'd see some of these players in the Champions League. And this is why. And although people on TalkSport and these other places are going, richest club in the world, they've failed, da-da-da-da-da. We've got the richest owners. We're not allowed to spend it. People comparing us to what Man City did. Man City had free reign, as we found out, to spend billions, and no one checked the records. No one checked the books. They break every rule they want and get away with it. We are not doing that. We still have Steve Bruce players.
We mustn't forget that it's been raining.
We have to go slowly, and we have to do it by the book. Milan had 2 shots on target and scored both. And that's not to knock Milan. They're a fucking good side. Now, Miguel Myron. This guy is probably a lovely human. I don't want to be a prick, but it's getting to be crimes against football he's committing here. 3 weeks in a row in tough games where you have to take your chances. He has gone one-on-one with the goalkeeper and missed at 0-0 critical moments.
Oh,
fucking prick, man. He's fucking fucking shit, this fucking little bastard. I seen him do that against Everton. I have to sit and watch this fucking toothless prick. He's shite left foot. Baff around with it. Unless he's feeling world class one day. This time the goalkeeper wasn't even there. I tell a lie. He is through on goal. Open goal. The defender is on his left side, who's trying to get the sliding tackle in. It falls to his right foot. He's just got to scoop it in. Because he is such a limited... I'm trying not to get annoyed. Brain dead footballer. He allows it to come onto his left foot. He knows the guy's there and he still lets it come across for the tackle. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen done in a Newcastle shirt in terms of big stakes, big moments, pressure's on, unmissable, easy, and you still fuck it up. Eddie Howe persists with this guy, and I know we've got so many injuries, but even when we didn't, I mean, Murphy was actually starting to displace him, so that tells you everything, because Murphy isn't gifted either, no disrespect, but neither of them should be in a Champions League game. Now it's time to get honest now, because this is where you learn things. Big tests, big answers. And the answer is loud and clear. This is what I'm talking about. Just hit it with your right foot, you absolute numbskull. There are certain players that come along once in a while that you just see consistently picked and they consistently do the things that every fan in the crowd is literally going, why are you doing that? It genuinely baffles me that this person can make so many bad decisions in a game of football at critical points of a football pitch. It's driving me up the wall, man. If you score here, everything could have been different. At the very least, we could have been in the Europa League. Now, I'll be honest, part of me is actually kind of relieved that we didn't get in the Europa League, and I would have loved the Europa League, but we're just not ready squad-wise. Can we beat the teams in the Europa League on one-off games? Absolutely. We could beat every single team in the Europa League in a one-off game. But can we do it consistently, and can we then continue our league form, and can we have a decent chance in the other cups? Like, we just can't do it, man. We've proven that. The squad's dropping to bits. I say this, but then I look at Man United's group and some of the other groups, and I think we would have gone through in a lot of those. But maybe this is healthy for us. It almost puts the fear of God into the owners of like, here's where you really are. Don't get carried away. And that's coming from me, who I have been getting carried away, as you fucking know. And I don't think we're that many players away from being where we need to be in order to compete for anything. The problem is what this has done to the league form. The injuries have been accumulated. The league form has really dipped off the back of every single Champions League game we've played. That's not a coincidence. The problem for Newcastle now is the lads just need to pick their chins up, because 3 defeats in a row is not good enough. It's not acceptable at any club, at any level. It's that shit for everyone. Don't matter the circumstances. You just can't allow that to keep happening. Things need to fucking turn around quickly, because if we let this destroy the lads mentally and all of a sudden the rest of the season's a bit of a hit and miss season, all of the positivity and the hope and ambition just feels sucked out of the fucking season. It's not even January yet. There's so much time to still get top 4 or top 5, depending on what the fuck the Champions League looks like. And that's what I'm more worried about now. We're in both cups. For me, a cup win would be massive for Newcastle to just instill a bit of belief, like we've won something, we can actually kick on from here. If we now see us in other cup games just lose belief, everything Eddie's built could come crumbling down if we're not careful. Like, the thing about Newcastle is belief and determination and aggression, and that requires a lot of mental strength. And if you keep losing games, like we've been conceding 3 a game roughly for the last 3 matches, well then that's all going to go to rat shit. We need big characters to step up, and that's one thing I think we've got. People like Kieran Trippier, Dan Burn, Bruno Guimaraes, Anthony Gordon, Joe Linton. Solid dudes who seem to really want to fucking win. It's going to take them to turn this shit around. And I think for Newcastle fans, we can sit there and go, you got us into the Champions League, lads. Well fucking done. You gave it your best. It wasn't quite good enough. Fair enough. What we can't allow is if you now let this get into your heads and everything for the rest of the season isn't 110%. Because now, the excuse of European football, all right, the damage has been done and we need to recover from it. But once we do, next year isn't going to be there. I accept there's going to be a bit of a hangover, but there's no more excuses after that. Get your fucking shit together and make sure you fucking pile it on at the end of the season and give every last fucking bit of effort so that you can get back in the Champions League. This team has proven against PSG this season, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, on any given day, they can fucking beat anyone. So we need to see some fucking silverware, because the longer that goes on, the more that mental block becomes a real thing. You know, we've seen how good Tottenham were over the years. They didn't grab anything while they were in that moment. You need to grab something and turn it into a series of trophies. Liverpool have done that many a time. The thing that I am taking a little bit of comfort from is the amount of celebrating that people were doing that we were out. It's like, well, we were in the group of death. I think that was obvious that we were going to struggle. Like, it was going to be hard. But it was the glory that people took in it, like other football fans. And that's when you realise, like, you guys see us as a threat. because we were in it to the bitter end. Oh, get in, they didn't make it. Whereas with Man United, it was more of a laugh that they were going out because everyone was saying what a fucking shambles of a campaign it was. In a weird way, as much as I'm getting bantered on Twitter, it's actually a bit of a fucking compliment. You guys see, like, 2 seasons in on a strict spending amount where we haven't been able to do what Manchester City did and Chelsea have done. We've already started to get our shit together. My worry is just that a setback like this could unglue a lot of the fucking hard work that's gone in from Eddie and the lads. And this is more learning for us to do on Eddie Howe and understand just how good is he, because if he's as good as I think he is, he'll sort it out. And if I'm wrong, well, I'll admit it, because unlike a lot of people, as much as I love this team and I love the manager and I want them to do well, I am not going to let it cloud my judgment, and I'm going to tell you the truth. We weren't good enough. That's just how it is sometimes. And it's not about pointing fingers all the time, aside from Almiron. Oh, Almiron, you brain dead bastard, man! I mean, I can't help that. I'm sorry, that was just trash. That was god-awful. But aside from Almiron, we can't point fingers. So yeah, I've rambled enough. I was pretty depressed for about a day. Again, I'm still getting used to having hope, and it's hurting. Let us know what you thought in the comments below, and do you think Newcastle will still manage to make it into the Champions League spots this season or not? And if so, why? Appreciate you all. Thanks a lot. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you this Sunday.
Or next week, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction, because I won't be watching you.
For Liverpool versus Manchester United, 4 p.m. on the kickoff live.